this took place. So if you guys followed one of my previous reference day testimony, I explained how I gave a short testimony in one of my videos about when I gave my heart to God. I didn't had a job. I was dependent on a man to support both me and my kids. Or I did had a job, but it was part-time, not making much money. All I had was my student grant along to help me out, and this man helped me with everything. So when I gave my heart back to God, it was beginning, like I had to start over from square one, get rid of that relationship and be dependent on God to support me and my household. And shortly after I gave my heart back to God, I was given a proposition by my stepfather at that time that, you know what, come back home for a few, catch yourself, and then go back and finish out your bachelor degree. So I did that, and as I did, God opened up a door for me that I was working at one place, and that place enabled me to save for me to go back to school. And then a few months after, I think I was even praying about it, and I was like, God, like this job is good, but I wanted to make a little bit more money, because my mindset then, going back to school with 3 kids, so I had to travel back out with my 3 kids, find an apartment, like practically basically starting over, you could say 75%. So it would have been difficult. So I had to save as much as I could to come back with them. And a job offer came up shortly after I was either thinking it or I was praying to God about it. Because you see, sometimes I talk to God so much that I don't think that I actually go down on my knees and pray. I do, especially in the 4th month, and I do go down on my knees and spend time with God. But I mean, like during the day, sometimes when I'm in the shower, or I'm in my quiet corner, or I'm driving, or whatever have you, I really just, conversate with God, as He is a regular person. So when you hear me say, I'm not sure if I prayed about it, is because I'm not sure if it was done on my knees or it was just done on one of my regular conversations with God. So let me get back. So shortly after, a job opportunity came up for me. God literally, thank you God for bringing it back to my memory. God literally allowed a situation to take place when I went back to the country that I was living before I went abroad to study. God allowed a situation to birth forth that brought a job opportunity to me. The first time I went, because actually, let me go back. I don't want to confuse it. Let me go back. So I was working at one place first where God opened up for me. And I was making, enough money. But I desired to have a different job. What happened was there was a job offer, a very good job offer at an organization. And, the pay was also good. And I was like, this is definitely something that I could do. Because I also had, I went to college also, for childcare. So I was like, this is such an awesome opportunity. So I applied for the job. But when I applied for the job, because I was studying social work at the time, the employer was the one that did the interview. So he was like, actually the one that you desire. Afterwards, he told me, you know what, that position is filled. But being that you already did your internship for social work, and you're almost finished with your degree, you have somewhat experience in this field. And I was like, yes, I do. So he took my phone number, he took my information, but it was not up until a few weeks after that, or it was a month, in between that time span, I really desired to make a bit more money. And God allowed a situation to come forth. And the way how I handled that situation was as if I was already finished with my degree and had experience in social work. So it was a very personal situation that took place. And everyone was astonished of the way that I handled it. And the same organization that I went to do the interview by, they also were informed that, I was the one that handled that situation. And that was God's job reference for me to get that job in social work. So you see, sometimes God would place you in a job that you have experience in. And in that job, let me go back a bit. In that job, in childcare at the time, because at the time I was working at a daycare. And I recognized working at the daycare, I felt cramped. I felt like I grew from daycare. Like, I knew that this is not the place that I want to be. I feel like me being there was just cramping me. I felt like I was spinning a cocoon. Yes, like I felt like I just needed to burst up, because I was ready for new experiences. And the daycare could not have provided that for me at the time. And just when I was about to become permanent at the daycare, God allowed a situation to take place. And because the situation took place, and because of the way how I handled it, that was God's job reference. And I received a phone call, and they said, Miss Maynard, we would like you to come in, for an interview. And I was like, okay. So when I went in for the interview, you may say, why are you talking about this? It's about job separation, because I feel that this has to be for someone. So when I went in for the job interview, the employer told me, Miss Maynard, listen, we already spoke, and this is it. If you want the job, this job is yours. This is what your salary is going to be like. These are your requirements. This is what you're going to be doing. I was shocked, because, new to the interview, feel like that. You're like thinking, okay, what are the questions he's going to ask me? How am I supposed to prepare? The job was just offered. He said, listen, if you want the job, it's yours. I was so shocked. And overjoyed at the same time, because that provided a way for me to be able to make a little bit more money, so that I can go back and further my studies along with my kids. And just for you to get an example, that sometimes if you're at a place right now, a job, and you're feeling so cramped, and you're believing in God to open up a door for you, another job for you, you see, that is elevation. You may have already went to the interview, and at the time, the position that you wanted was already filled. But you see, when God elevates you himself, he provides the situations to come forth. And through that, The job will just be offered to you. You won't have nothing to do but just to say, yes, I'll take it. Because God already equipped you. I don't even know why I'm going in this direction. So sometimes we have to start out where we don't want to be necessarily to end up where we're supposed to be. And if you're at a place, I'm going to repeat, if you are feeling cramped, like, I can't go here anymore, and you're believing in God, God's reference for another job for you is not your reference. God is going to provide that job for you in a supernatural way that will blow your mind. I don't know why I'm heading in this direction, but I don't even know if I would have enough time to finish out the other video. So I'm going to leave this here, and I'm going to do another video about the legit job separation. So follow this path, and I'll do another video. All right, you guys take care. Be blessed.